Hello and thank you for coming to the McWaters Effect. I'm your host, Matt. Today we're going to be looking at Joe Biden looking in to sign executive orders for gun control. But first I need you to hit like and subscribe. Helps the channel grow. Now let's get on with the show. Now Joe Biden is looking into doing some gun control measures by using executive orders. Now, executive orders can be undone, but he wants to try to make it where they can't be undone when it comes to gun control issue. And we're going to go over a couple stories. Now, there are 3 executive orders he's eyeing. One is to go after ghost guns or ghost gun kits. The other one is to go after 3D printer guns and to go after high-capacity magazine assault weapon style guns. Now, this story is about 2 of them. It's the ghost gun kit and the 3D printer guns. The White House is trying to craft a series of executive action for President Joe Biden to sign, try to limit gun violence. Hopefully, they can't be quickly dismantled in court, according to aides and gun safety groups. The DOJ are looking to go after ghost guns. So-called ghost guns are kits that are assembled by hand from parts from guns purchased online or at a gun show. And they're increasingly associated with crime. The ATF, more than 30% of the illegal weapons they confiscated in California are ghost guns. Now, ghost guns, you don't have to have a background check or have to register the gun due to it's considered a firearm. All right, this is what I'm going to tell you about what I know about ghost guns and ghost gun kits. Majority of these kits are for guns. They are for show. They're not for use. Majority of people that put them together actually the wrong way, so you can't use them. Now, some people might get them and try to use them as weapons, yes, but most of the time, the people that are getting them are collectors, and they're not using them. They're not getting them to use them. They're getting them for show. That's what the whole point of the kit is for. It's for collectors. It's not for people that wants to use a weapon. And majority of these ghost kits that they're talking about are older guns. When I say older guns, 50 years or older type of guns. Why would people nowadays want a gun like that? I'm not saying you can't get some of the newer guns in that. You might be able to. I've never seen it. Do I think they should be registered? Probably. I'd say that'd probably be a good idea. You know, it's one of those things where you're hindering, you might be hindering collectors too, but collectors' rights at least. You got to find a balance. I don't know if an executive order is the way to go. In my opinion, if you want to make it last, you're going to have to go through Congress. And I don't see why Republicans would have a problem with these kits being subjugated to the same rules as normal guns. Because if you put in all the parts properly, that you can use that gun. All you have to do is when you get it is just go to the gun shop and get it registered and do the background checks and you're legal. All right, the next one is the 3D gun printer. All right, 3D printers can do a lot of things other than making guns. But the bad thing is when you make a gun with it, it don't have the serial number. Not only that, they're not buying the gun, so you have no idea who's getting the gun and so on and so forth. This is something executive orders I don't think should be doing either. I think you should do this with legislation because it'll make it where it's, can't be reversed. And I don't see why Republicans wouldn't do the same thing with this as I said they should do with ghost guns. I know some gun advocates don't like the idea of registration and going through background checks, but you have to do it with when you buy anything at a gun shop, and you have to do it when you buy anything at a gun show. So I don't see why it would be against doing it when it comes to like 3D printers or ghost guns. And the last executive order that they're thinking about using is going after assault-style firearms. Something like an AR-15. I'm against that. An AR-15 and weapons like that, the reason they're getting popular, especially with hunters, is because they're lightweight. When you go in the woods, and let's say you're carrying a 30-06 or a 270, those are heavier guns. And then you got also whatever you kill, which most times is going to be a deer with that type of weapon. You're going to try to drag that thing out of the woods, carry your gun at the same time, and a lot of these hunters out there are starting to have heart attacks and stuff like that due to the pressure trying to get that deer out of the woods and carrying that gun at the same time. These weapons, AR-15s, are lightweight and they're easier to carry, easier to deal with, and getting the weapon out. And majority of hunters, they don't have a high capacity magazines or clips. What they normally have is just the 3 bullets in the chamber, and that's it. Some do carry the higher capacity clips, but these guns are not rapid fire. They shoot 1 bullet at a time, unless you do some modifications to the gun. And you can do that, but that's illegal. And there's another thing he's looking to end, and that is the end of civil immunity for gun manufacturers for wrongful death lawsuits. I'm against that as well. This would pretty much destroy gun manufacturers. And I think that's probably what the Democrats want to happen. They can't do it through the Constitution and getting rid of them altogether. They'll do it by just destroying the companies that make the guns and the bullets and anything else like that. Now it's time to give you my opinion on this. All these 3 executive orders are 4 he's thinking about doing. Would this change anything when it came to what happened in Atlanta or Colorado, Boulder, Colorado? No. These guns were purchased legally. Majority of these mass shootings, the weapons are purchased legally. Nothing would have stopped them. Let's say if they weren't able to buy these assault rifles. Well, you could buy a handgun that has that many bullets in it too. You could also buy rifles that carry only 3 bullets, and then you can just reload. The amount of time they had, they have time to do that. So in my opinion, this has nothing to do with what happened there, certain things. This has to do with control and them wanting to get rid of guns altogether. Because they believe, the rest of the, what they call civilized world, which what they would call Europe, some in Asia, as well as Australia, they have pretty much made it where it's illegal to own a gun. And my problem with that is that's how tyranny happens. Hell, Australia's arrested people for not wearing a mask. If the people there still had guns, that wouldn't be happening. People might say what I'm saying is a little outdated, but it's true. One of the arguments is why people need guns is to protect themselves from a tyrannical government. That ain't the only reason. There's also a perfect example is during World War II when we were attacked by Japan at Pearl Harbor. By our calculations, they could have kept on going, and we wouldn't have stopped them until they got to pretty close to the Mississippi River. So they could have took over half the country. They would have kept on going because of the kind of surprise attack they did. And they asked the Japanese commander at the time, after the war, why they didn't do that. And he said, pretty much because the populace of the United States has guns. They didn't feel like they could fight the government military as well as the people that owned guns in the United States. A lot of these Japanese commanders that were in the Japanese military at the time actually went to U.S. Schools. And they knew about Americans and guns, about their fondness with guns. And they knew that they were going to have issues if they tried to do something like that. That's the reason they didn't do it. I mean, why else do you think other places haven't tried to invade the United States? It's because the populace have guns. Because majority of countries don't have the kind of weaponry we have. Nuclear weapons, so on and so forth. Majority of countries don't have that. If they're going to invade, they'll do it by ground. And when it comes to being on the ground and fighting, Americans do it the best. Well, this is the end of the show. I hope you enjoyed. If you didn't, I don't know what to tell you. But please hit like and subscribe. Helps the channel grow. Peace.